Hey guys, what is going on, and welcome back to the channel. So the topic of today's video is going to be on a long-awaited reveal, and that's going to be the 300 Blackout build that I teased a very long time ago. Now, a bit of the background on this particular gun, and the reason it has taken me so long is I have had quite the adventure trying to get this thing to do exactly what it was I wanted it to do, and that is run right in all different types of environments, as well as get the gun dirty, get the gun hot, get the gun wet, and trying to strike a balance between being able to run both supersonic and subsonic suppressed with this particular rifle. Now, starting on, you will notice that this gun is different from the original configuration that I had, and that is because the first of the problems that I had ran into with this was the reliability issues that I was getting with the Maximum Defense PDW stock system. The problem I was having is that spring just did not have enough once the gun got really filthy to get the gun back in the battery, and so that's one of the first things that I ended up changing out. So I changed that out. I got everything ready. I was like, all right, let's go ahead and let's test this thing. Let's get this ready so we can get a video out to you guys. On moved to problem number 2, which was this ballistic advantage barrel. So from the factory, at least my example of the ballistic advantage barrel was having issues with gas right out the box, running both subs and super suppressed. Now, we would run it, cycle everything with Maxim because the Maxim spring was significantly lighter, though it felt a bit more violent when you were running these supers. Once I threw the standard on here, that is where we started to run into issues with cycling and actually running the gun with subsonics reliably. Now, we're on the supers 100%, and it was shooting really soft, really smooth, but it would have a bit more of a struggle when it came to running the subs. So, broke everything down, and what they ended up doing was pin gauging everything, and I actually measured the gas port out to this to be around a .086, which, if you know anything about the way gassing for a 300 Blackout works with 8.5, you really want to be right around the high .09s up into the .1s, like .101, 102, in order to get these things to run everything reliably, and I was well underneath that. So I opened the barrel up, or the port up. I opened it to a .099, so I went just below what the majority of companies were gassing out to get things to run everything reliably, and that has fixed all of my issues as far as the reliability is concerned. Now, jumping on forward, I had everything planned out. I had all the guys show up out here, a whole bunch of drills, a bunch of cool stuff planned for you guys, doing flash tests and all that, comparing it. And on to the third issue that I had, and that is with this suppressor here. Now, if you guys are familiar with the blast baffle design for the Yankee Hill machine version of suppressors, you will know that they have these little ports that are around the outer edge of the baffle itself, away from where the actual round would actually flow through, and I believe that is to decrease the overall back pressure of the system itself, and I feel like that apparently this is an Achilles heel for this particular design, at least with the 30 cal version of it, because with the bore design or other stuff with it, I'm guessing it's just the flash hiders that I was running with this, it was putting them just in the right spot, the unburnt powder, to be able to actually sandblast the thinnest portions of those little ports. And what ended up happening, I'll actually annotate a picture here, is the baffle broke loose inside of the can, and I was firing the gun, the baffle broke loose, slid down. The next round that I fired, it actually sent it through that baffle, and the round come apart inside the can and just wrecked the internals of the suppressor itself. Now, to Yankee Hill's credit, they did warranty this suppressor, and they did fix everything for me 100%, and I had the can back from the time I sent it off to the time I got it back was 11 days. So they had a really good, really quick turnaround for the suppressor itself. So the warranty process that I did for YHM, I've heard they weren't good. The warranty process that I had done, from at least in my experience, has been really good communication. They took care of it, and they fixed everything. Now, one of the things that did end up changing with this, one, they ended up giving me the lower back pressure baffles, and they also changed the material itself from Inconel to Stellite. Now, Stellite, or Cobalt 6, one of the things that's good about Cobalt 6 is it is more abrasion resistant than Inconel is, but one of the problems you'll run into with Cobalt 6 versus Inconel is the degradation temperature for Cobalt is lower than what it is for Inconel. So you guys are never going to get these hot enough to really reach that point, which the majority of people won't. It's not going to be an issue, but that's just a data point to keep in mind. Now, the new baffles. One thing that I have noticed is now this suppressor is significantly louder with subsonics even than what it was before. Before, the gun sounded like just like a typewriter running. You just the action itself running, and the gun was extremely quiet. Now when I get it back, it is actually relatively uncomfortable to shoot suppressed with even subsonic ammunition. So it's kind of a bummer, but there's something you do need to keep in mind if I were to do it again, because of these, I guess they're EcoFlow, they're semi-flow through or low back pressure baffles. I would end up going with the longer version versus the K. But again, that is just something for you guys to keep in mind. Now, what is it that I've got inside of this gun? So we're going to start from the front. We're going to move our way all the way to the back. Starting from the front, I've got a Yankee Hill Machine Resonator K 30 caliber suppressor mount here. I went away from the QD mount that I had before because of the blast baffle erosion issue that I was talking about. And I actually ended up moving over to a Capital Armory titanium Plan B hub mount. I want to get a lighter mount, as well as a radial brake to help protect the internals of the can itself, having that erosion problem again. So that is my changeover for that, and so far everything has been good. I have not noticed any kind of erosion or anything like that, although I've only got a probably around 500-ish rounds since I got the suppressor back through the can itself. Moving on back to the barrel, I've got a it's either 8.5 or an 8.3 ballistic advantage barrel in here. This is one of the newer ones. I've had this barrel a long time, but keep in mind I did end up opening up the port in this from the factory. Moving on to the handguard itself. Now, if I were to do it all over again, this is the only part that I would do the same. I would do a different barrel, I would do a different receiver set, I would do a different bolt carrier group, I would do everything pretty much in this gun differently. This particular rail is an Aero Precision. This is their enhanced rail, and the reason I like this rail a lot is it affords you the opportunity to be able to actually tuck the suppressor underneath. One of the things you run into with shorter 300 blackouts is you're going to quickly run out of rail real estate because of how short the standard sized rails have to actually be to be able to run suppressors and stuff like that. So that is my reason for that. There are other options out there today, and we will have, I think, at least one other option out here today, as well as another rail just like this, and you'll be able to see that. But that, again, kind of that is my reasoning there. Then moving on back, the receivers that I've got here, it is an Aero Precision upper and lower receiver. I've got a Microbest BCG in here, as well as a Sons of Liberty Gunworks lower parts kit, a Geissele 3-gun trigger, and then a PRI gas buster charge handle to help me to be able to control the flow of the gas a little bit better, because this is a 100% time suppressed gun, so I want to be able to vent that gas a little better and protect health. Other than that, guys, it's a pretty simple rifle. Moving on over to the accoutrements for the attachments, I've got a full power PEC 15 mounted on top, a Surefire dual fuels weapon light, as well as a SIG Romeo 3 optic on a Geissele 193 mount. All that stuff has changed from the original setup because I was trying to take as much weight off of it as I can, because you can tell it's a bit of a chunky boy, and I wanted to kind of save weight where I could. So guys, what we're planning on doing today is we're going to first do an accuracy test down range. So let's go ahead, let's get over to the range itself, and let's do that real quick, and come back to the table and talk about the rest of these tests. All right, first up, we're going to do 9mm. This is 124 grain Federal. It's FMJ. All right. Next up, we're going to do the 5.56. This is 55 grain Lake City M193. So this is the actual NATO spec stuff. Lastly, 300 Blackout. We're going to shoot 200 grain Winchester subsonics. Move up. Yeah, those sound like they're on the cusp of going super out of this particular barrel. But yeah, let's go ahead, let's go down, take a look at it. All right, guys, and the results are in. So what I ended up doing is I just went over to 50 yards and I grouped all three of these comparative setups to each other. So you've got the 300 Blackout, which is in the middle, which was actually designed to be able to bridge the gap between something like an MP5 and a shorter 5.56, and then be able to maintain the subsonic capabilities and also remain lethal, and be able to push the rifle out to further distances compared to its predecessor. So what we've got here is I've got 3 different pasties posted. You should have seen the groups being shot themselves. I started out with the MP5 here. Now, I have never been able to get any of the sub guns that I've gotten to be able to shoot. This is a little bit bigger than what I normally get. Normally I'll do a little bit better than this, but this is kind of on par for what I've gotten. You guys might have different experiences, but I think the reasoning for it is the style of mount that we've actually got on these. These tri-lug mounts, I believe, are causing the issue, because if I take the suppressor off and group it, it literally cuts the group into a quarter of what it actually is here, which we're looking at like a 5-inch group. But again, keep in mind the purpose of these guns. These were made to meet where the camera's at. They weren't made to be shot a super long distance, and that was kind of the whole reasoning for moving to something like a 300 Blackout. Is you can run the subs indoors with expanding rounds and it still be every bit as effective as what the MP5 was doing, but you also had the ability to be able to switch to supersonics and be able to actually run the gun at a significantly further distance, and both with subs and supers maintain a little bit better accuracy. Now, could I close the accuracy down on that if I went to something like a Plan B? Yes, but it would increase the length of it, and again, that gun is planned to be used at closer range indoors, so that's my reasoning for that. Moving on to the second group, and that was with the 11.5-inch 5.56 shooting M193. You can see here, this again is about on par with what this Centurion barrel shoots, the M193. I mean, kind of take that for what it is. If I were to put something like PMC X-Tac, for instance, and or PMC Bronze, it actually shrinks the group down to be way smaller than what this is. But again, these are the results that I'm pretty consistent with that. And then moving on to the 300 Blackout, I was shooting 200 grain Winchester subsonic rounds, so they're super suppressed or whatever their subsonic rounds are. It's the black box. And again, you can see this is the group that I got there at 15 yards with those. Now, that's pretty much the accuracy that I've gotten out of all 3 of these guns in the past. Nothing has really changed as far as that is concerned. And again, you do need to keep in mind whenever you're swapping between subs and supers, they're going to be a completely different zero. Generally, if you're going to zero for subs, your supers are going to be hitting way high. And if you're zeroing for supers, your subs are going to be hitting way low. And a lot of guys will just zero for their supers, and then they'll just use their subs at close range indoors, and then just not have to worry about the difference in zero, because they're not going to be shooting more than like 10, 15 yards with it anyways. So they'll run it like that. But for me, my plan for this is I plan to run this with subsonics 100% of the time, because that's the most fun thing to do. But if I want to run supers, I can. So what we're going to do now, guys, is I've got a couple of ballistics gel blocks out here. My plan is I'm going to test several different rounds from all 3 of these guns, or realistically 1 round from the MP5 and then a couple of rounds from the other 2 rifles, and just compare the lethality of the different rounds. Now, whenever you're shooting subsonic 300 Blackout, you want to keep in mind that if you're doing like your 220 grain OTMs, you are not going to get any expansion out of those. Even if you stick the barrel to the gel and fire it, you're not going to get any expansion out of those, because they are not designed to expand at that velocity. So if you're going to be getting into a round like that, you need to keep in mind that you need to get expanding bullets. So what I've got as an example for you guys is I wanted to find something that was readily available, that you could walk into any store and you can grab yourself some and test it for yourself, and that is cheaper than the majority of the other options that are on the market. So that's why I went with the 190 grain Hornady Sub-X expanding subsonic rounds. I have used these quite a bit in the past. I've shot several different animals with them, and they have expanded really well. I've always been able to put the animal down, and I've also shot these to the gel on a couple of different occasions, and they always perform really well. Now, for the supersonic, I've gone with the exact opposite end, and I have gone for light for caliber, and that is with a 110 grain 300 Blackout Hornady VMAX. I like running these particularly because whenever you're shooting or running a gun indoors, it's good to be able to have something that's going to stop reliably inside of a target, or at least have less of a chance than just zipping through the target. Again, that's why you want an expanding bullet. Mine 300 Blackout, it's going to be a little bit more problematic there, but you can't mitigate it. So that's the reason we're going with these. Generally, these rounds are going to come apart, they're going to fragment, expand really well, they're going to cause quite a bit of damage, which we'll see in the gel here in a little while. And then lastly, we're going to be running the 11.5-inch 5.56. I'm going to be running 77 grain AEC as well as 55 grain M193. All 3 of these will have the chronograph planted next to it whenever I fire the round, so you'll be able to see the exact velocity and energy for the particular projectile whenever the round was fired, and then we will move from there. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get the gel test done, and then let's move on out and start running some drills. All right, first up is going to be the MP5 with 9mm. It's going to be 115 grain out of a YHM R9 suppressor, one of the best suppressors for the 9mm PCC platform, in my opinion. All right, go 5 rounds. All right, go 5 fast. All right, next up is going to be 5.56. This is full power M193, a Monarch Recce. So worth noting, this is the only flow-through can out of the bunch, so keep that in mind. I'm also doing some testing on this can, just gonna see how it works. But again, 11.5 inch 5.56 M193. We'll go 5 rounds slow. And last, the 300 Blackout. I'm using 200 grain. This is the Winchester super suppressed stuff. So I'm going to be running hand loads for the majority of the day today, but these hand loads are actually moving at the same velocity. The 220 hand loads I have are the exact same velocity as these 200s. So they're actually some spicy subs comparatively to what you can actually get on the market. And these 200s, from what I have found, are some of the hotter subsonic rounds that you can get. But these are running about 990 feet per second out of this gun. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to do 5 rounds slow. So hopefully that translates well over on camera for the flash test. All right, just because I want to be thorough, I'm going to go ahead and run my subs as well. These are 220 grain hand loads, so take that for what it is. Usually you can get your hand load subsonic rounds to be a lot less flashy than what you can get a lot of your factory stuff for, but I mean, they do tend to add some inhibitors, but also the factory stuff tends to be a lot dirtier. If you ever shoot factory subsonic suppress, you'll notice that there's a whole bunch of little yellow particulates in there, and I think that is just filler that's in the powder, but there's also some flash inhibitors there too. With my subs, there's none of that. It is just 9 grains of H110 loaded behind a 220 at 2.140 overall length. So they feel about the same when you shoot them with these versus the Winchesters, and I kind of try to tailor it that way, but they're also going about the same speed, if not just a hair faster than what those are going. So I was averaging about 1,000 feet per second out of these, right at 1,000. It was like 1,001, I think, for a 5-round chrono. And my minimum was like 980, and my maximum was like 1020. So we're gonna go ahead and run these as well. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna do 5 rounds slow. So as far as the shootability goes, they feel exactly the same. Now, again, I want to mention that, because I know it's going to be said a lot, the sound of this K suppressor. I've had this thing re-baffled, and they put their high flow baffles back in it. So it's a lot less back pressure than what the can used to have. But the downside to that is this thing is way fucking louder than what it used to be. Initially when I set this up, this thing, it was like the action running is about all you can hear. It was insanely quiet. But the new YHM, I guess the reduced back pressure, it does do what they say. It makes it a lot less back pressure, but I feel like it's containing the gases for a lot less time, and it's projecting more stuff forward. So you're hearing more sound, particularly out of the K can for the resonator. Now the full size sounds a lot better than what this does, even with their newer baffle system. But that is something you need to keep in mind. I know it's going to be said, this is how I had initially set up the gun and built the gun out, because I wanted to keep it as short as possible. The full-size can would have added like that much more to it. I do have my Infinity if I wanted to run that, but again, that is not what I set this gun up for. I was trying to be as short, compact as possible, so that's kind of the reason for that. If I were to do it again, as of 2025, I would not buy this can just because of how loud it is. And I just want to make that recommendation to you guys. If you're trying to get short, do not go with this. Figure something else out. I would say you're going to sacrifice a little bit of length, but not quite as much as the R2. Go with the Polonium 30. It's in between this one and the Resonator R2, which is a full-size resonator. What we're going to do now is we're going to do a ballistics gel test, and we've already shot this but I just want to kind of go over the format of what we're going to do. I've got 3 gel blocks out today, and each round is going to get its own block. The 9mm will be a catch block as well, because again, I only have 3. So it might get a little bit cluttered, or it does get a little bit cluttered, but I want to quickly go over the 3 different rounds the 4 different rounds that we have caught. And I ended up firing a 200 grain and a 55 grain as well, and both of those ended up zipping through the block. The 55 did disrupt, but the 77 was one of the rounds that I ended up catching, as well as the 110, the 135, and the 190 grain. I had to fire a second 190, or Ollie did, because he's a retard and didn't account for height over bore. And then it's his fault that I didn't account for height over bore either, so let's go ahead and blame him for everything. But the reason that I'm going with the 135 grain flex tip over the 190 is I wanted to have a comparison of the designs as well as the manufacture of all the rounds that we're going to be firing today. So all of the projectiles out of the rounds that we ended up catching are manufactured by Hornady. We've got a 190 grain sub X, so it's a subsonic expanding, a 135 FXT critical duty, and then a 110 VMAX and a 77 grain OTM, which is the Hornady Aero Match bullet. Just aim kind of like probably lower, about an inch down from the top. Aim for the first, and let's see where it hits. So this will be 190 sub X. All right, give me a second, let me intro. Okay. All right, so 190 grain sub X. All right, first round hit a hair low, so we're gonna go one more time. 190 grain sub X. All right, that one went nice and center. All right, go ahead and save it up real quick.
That was 1005.
1005. All right, go ahead and drop the magazine. Let's save it up real quick. Let's go look. Boom, channel 2. Shit.
Oh shit! Look at that.
It looks like that one exited.
Where did it go?
I don't know. It did it. All right, I don't know how difficult it might be to see. Go ahead and grab. All right, you can kind of see. So this is going to be the wound channel for the 190 grain sub X. So we're not going to do this for every round. What we're going to do now is we're going to fire the final 2 that we have in the magazine, so a sub and a super. We're going to just kind of get an idea of exactly what it is these rounds are doing. But you can see that this round did end up completely exiting, but the first one that we had fired ended up stopping right here on the edge. But that one hit the table and bounced up and stopped just shy of the edge of the block right here. So let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and get the 110 out, or the 200 first, and then we're going to do a 110.
All right, so this one.
So this is going to be a 200 grain. So this is
200 grain.
Yep. So the first one's going to be a 200 grain. Let's see it real quick. So this is going to be the Winchester super suppressed, and this is why you don't want to shoot. Get that focused. This is why you don't want to shoot subsonic, non-expanding rounds and expect them to do much terminally. So we're going to go ahead and see. And as you guys will notice, these will kind of just pencil right through. Go ahead and do roughly the same point of aim, because again, we are a little close. Yeah, and that just penciled right on through it. I've seen it hit the berm with some authority. So let's go ahead and go down there and look at that real quick. And yeah, you basically went through the same hole here with it. So it's not a very good representation, but I mean, that one just kind of penciled right through it. Wow. With some authority. It didn't even flinch going through that second block. But you can see the wound track from the first subsonic expanding round. It did an excellent job. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna shoot the 110s. All right, now we're loaded with 110 grain VMAX. So these are gonna be supersonic. And you can see how much authority that round. What was the velocity?
Didn't pick it up.
Okay. I think this is the front of the block. Yep, so there you go. So you can see all of the fragmentation and everything that happened in there. It's pretty sweet. And we did stop in the second block. So faster moving around, less velocity, it ended up stopping here in the second block. We're looking at, these blocks are about 10 inches long a piece, so we're looking at about probably 12 to 13 inches of penetration. And again, you can look at all of the fragmentation that's actually happening inside of this block. All right, guys, now we're going to be doing the 9mm out of the MP5. It's going to be 135 grain critical duty. The reason I'm using this, other than something like an HST, is I want to do a round that was relatively similar in design and from the same manufacturer as what we were doing for the 300 Blackout with the 190 grain Sub-X. So I got the gel set up down here. We're going to fire one round. Pretty good expansion. 1166 for the velocity. So those are supersonic. Look at it. Looks like good expansion out of that. So I hit right here in the center, and it looks like it came to a stop right here in the edge of the second block. I mean, so you can see there, good expansion out of the 9mm as well. So comparing the wound channels, and it's kind of hard to see now because the 110 has done so much devastation in here. You're definitely going to get a substantially more devastation out of a 9mm expanding round, especially going supersonic, compared to what you're going to actually get out of a subsonic 300 Blackout. Again, remember, you're trying to have the best of both worlds whenever you're working with a 300 Black versus a 9mm, and you're also trying to bridge the gap between the 9mm and a 5.56 with having good terminal performance out of a short barrel and be able to switch between subs and supers. So let's go ahead, let's get a new block up. We're going to do the 5.56 next. All right, guys, we went ahead and put a fresh block up. So I've got 2 rounds here for the 5.56. I've got a 77 grain AAC, which again is using a Hornady bullet. It's the 77 grain Hornady Aero Match, which is very similar in performance to the Sierra Match Kings that you know and love. And then I've got a full power NATO spec M193 55 grain behind that. We're just going to fire both of these and get the velocities out of them. I don't have to reset the chronograph. It's just going to give me a different foot-pounds of energy for the 55 grain to what it would normally be. So we're going to do the 77 first. I'm going to aim slightly right of center. All right, looks like it went way low. 23, 24 for the velocity. Let's go ahead and go reset that real quick. All right, guys, and like a rear, I did not account for height over board. So we're gonna go ahead and do this again. So I have fired one shot into the block already, but I'm gonna have to reset. It also blew the bottom of my little fence picket table out. So I'm gonna aim just over the top. Good center hit. All right. Let's go ahead and reset. 23, 24 for the velocity. It didn't pick up the second one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's the 77 we all know and love. You can see it came to a stop back here, all the way in the second block, almost all the way through. So this round did a phenomenal job doing what 77s normally do. We're going about 2,300 feet per second, and this is like the whole, oh, you got to have 2,500 feet per second for this round to be, this round to work right. And you can clearly see here, that is absolutely not the case. That round absolutely fucked that wound, that gel block up. That wound channel is gnarly. All right, and formalities. So we're just going to be shooting to 55. I'm going to go towards the left edge of the block. I need to make these a little bit wider next time. But we're going for the left edge of the block. Aiming again, just over the top. 55 grain, M193. (2,888 feet per second), and it decimated that jump block. Look at it. All right, so that one, I squeaked it in right here, and again, you can see that's the wound channel here. So let's go ahead and let's split these. See that knife real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this in half, just because I want to dissect and see exactly how. That's a sharp ass knife. Let's look.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so we're into a little bit of the 55 or the 77 on this side, but you can actually see the 55 really well on this side versus the 77. Try to figure out the direction. All right, so this is the entry. Yeah. So this is the entry side. You can see how much wider. So this is the actual width of the temporary stretch cavity that we got out of the 77s. For the 55s, they're significantly smaller. You can see we're looking at about here for the 55s. So we're looking at, I don't know, probably 1.5 inches, 2 inches, and about 4 inches wide for the TSC on that one. It looks like, maybe did I catch another round? I definitely see the 77 right there. Go ahead and finger that out. So there's your 77. You can see out of that 11.5, that's some hellaciously good expansion that's actually coming out of that round. And the 55, I think, zipped through. Yeah. I think the 55 actually just zipped through it. It looks like a new wound shrek right there. Right next to the, let's go ahead and cut it in half and let's see what this looks like. Doing surgery. It feels so nasty. It's like it dragged. That's from where the one round had hit and bounced up before. It drew some wood into it. But it's hard to tell. That round might have squeaked out the edge of the block too. It's hard to tell, but I'm not seeing where that other 55 went. My guess is it might be laying around here somewhere. But that's pretty damn good expansion.
All right, you know what time it is.
Taking a bite out of it. Finish her off.
All right.
All right, guys, with the power of editing, it's only been a couple of seconds for me, but it's been a couple of minutes for you guys watching the actual shooting of these gel blocks here. So I've got the 300 Blackout gel block that I'm going to start with. And so this is going to be the entrance side of the block. So you can actually see that Ollie is too accurate. He shot these right next to each other. So there's going to be a little bit of a conflicting as far as the exact wound channels. They are kind of overlapping into each other a little bit, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them crossways this way so you can get a bit of an idea of what these do. So you're looking at here, we've got the 110 as well as the 190, and again, I do know that they overlap and we try to kind of keep them apart, but we're limited with space with the gel blocks, so I'll have to, I'm working on the formula and everything here, so we're going to have to do some bigger blocks in the future, but for now this is what we've got. We got the 110 that entered here, and then we've got the 190 that come over here on this on my left. The 190 that we shot through the block that did the majority of the damage, or all the damage that's up here, actually ended up passing through it. We did fire the first round that ended up going low, and that is a round that we caught here, and it's a little bit mangled because it did come in contact with the board down at the base. But usually speaking, when I've shot these in the past, these petals will actually open up the opposite direction and it'll kind of flare out like so when shooting into gel. And these generally do a really good job expanding and actually causing a good bit of carnage inside of a gel block. And I've also shot critters with them. It does a really good job on critters as well. Now the 110, this did what VMAX is designed to do, and that is mushroom out like crazy, dump a ton of energy, and fragment. And it did all of those things. You can see that this 110 grain bullet, it just completely flattened it out, and we actually had jacket and core separation for these, but they did end up stopping at the same location in the block. But as you can see, again, it held together really well, and that is something that's going to be the opposite that you're going to see from rounds that are like bonded bullets, like what you're going to generally get out of a pistol, as well as some rifle rounds. This 77 grain OTM being an example. You can see that the expansion on this also performed really well. Now, why would you go with a 300 Blackout over something like a 9mm or 5.56? Generally speaking, 300 is going to do a better job performing out of shorter barrels at closer ranges versus what your majority of your 5.56s are going to do, and it's going to have the ability to shoot in expanding subsonic rounds. So if you want to be all kind of secret squirrel ninja quiet, you can run a subsonic expanding round. But if you need a little bit more oomph, you're going to have the supersonic rounds that are available out there. The Barnes 110 is a really good example of this. I like shooting 125 SSTs, which we don't have out here today. If you Look at the saber blade ammunition. I know that the 125 grain saber blade, the black tip, is an example of a 125 SST. Excellent bullet. You can also get Fiocchi. They do a load. It's a blue tip, but it's also made by Hornady. It's a 125 SST. As far as Hornady goes, I think that they only load the 110s for the expanding rounds. I could be wrong on that, but those are some really good solid options for supers that you want to get out there. Now, I will get in the comments that there are some better expanding subsonic rounds for 300 Blackout out there. I know that Lehigh Defense makes a really good one. I know that Maker makes a good one, the Maker Rex, the 190s and the 200s. I know those are really excellent examples of copper subsonic expanding rounds. The issue that I have with those is copper, a lot of times it doesn't stabilize quite as well. And I have shot them in the past, and I will notice that the rounds are entering the paper when I'm zeroing them a little bit sideways, so I stopped shooting them for that reason. That's just me. That is something you're going to have to keep in mind. I also wanted to get something that was readily available to the massive. You can walk into Academy right now, and they sell the 190 Sub X. You can buy it at Academy. It's a little expensive, but you can get it. If you're a hand loader, you can also hand load these. They are readily available rounds, and they have a lot of data out there for them. And because it's a traditional cup and core bullet with a gilding jacket, they expand really well, and you don't have the issue, at least that I ran into with the Makers and the Lehighs. I haven't shot Lehighs, but with the Makers, of entering the paper at kind of an oblong angle, and the risk that you have with that is that round not stabilizing and destroying your suppressor. And then again, it's going to do a lot better job with supers than any 9mm you're going to get. You're going to get very similar performance with an expanding round like this versus what you would get with a 9mm. These rounds are realistically going to rely on expansion and dumping the energy quickly to actually wound whatever it is you are shooting at, and the Sub X's do an excellent job at that. So what we're going to do now, guys, is we're going to set up some paper, and we're going to run some drills comparing the shootability of both of these two rifles. We're going to be running how quickly you can actually run the different drills, the recoil impulse for everything, kind of try and convey that to you as best I can, and just get a bunch of good shooting footage for you out there. All right, guys, so next we're going to be doing a series of direct comparisons of the shootability of these two platforms, specifically the 5.56 that's laying on the ground right there, and the 300 Blackout. Now, one of the really good things about, or really neat things about 300 Black is subs don't really have much recoil to them. You can run these really fast. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a series of drills, and we're going to see how much I can keep in the paper and exactly how fast I can be when performing these drills. So on the timer, we're running this from about 5 yards.
All right. Shooter ready?
All right, all of those are in the paper. We're gonna run this one more time.
Shooter ready?
And all those in the paper. Let's go ahead and put on a look at it. Now, as you can see, all these rounds nice and right there in the A zone, exactly how you want. And it's worth noting that I've got a the ST3G trigger in here, so this trigger is extremely light. Or this is, I think, the super single stage, not 3G. It's their single stage, or their take on a single stage trigger. It's still technically a 2-stage, but the first stage is extremely short. So I'm gonna go ahead and download this. What were the times on that, or did it pick it up?
It didn't pick up. It only picked up the first shot.
Yeah, the first round pop.
Yeah.
All right, that's all right. We'll make sure to just kind of hold it out there in front of me.
Okay.
For the rest of these. We're gonna run 5.56 now, same drill. We're gonna do 2 5-round cadence drills.
You ready?
Bit of trigger freeze there. We won't count that one against it. That's a little bit more me.
All right, shooter ready?
All right, definitely a little bit harder to keep on target. We're gonna go one more. What was the time?
That one didn't pick up for some
You're
reason.
gonna have to hold the microphone towards me.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
So we're gonna do one more.
One more time. Shooter ready? 1.14.
114. All right. Again, guys, this is a little bit harder to control. 5.56 is not hard to control, but subsonic 300 Blackout is easy to control, and that's one of the ways that you're going to notice that it's got a bit of an edge. Being a weapon that's designed for up close, you're able to run it really fast and get rounds on target really fast. All right, next comparison drill, we're going to do a box drill. So now I'm going to be shooting at both targets with both guns. So box drill, if you don't know what it is, it's going to be to the chest, head, head. So you're going to basically draw a box between the two targets. You need two targets. These are spaced roughly 3 yards apart, if I had to guess. I'm gonna start gun at low ready in the middle.
All right. All right, time was 2.86.
Most of those. All right, so all those are in the A zone. All right, let's go ahead. Had trigger freeze on that first 300 blackout one.
Shooter ready?
One more time.
3.45. Shooter ready?
All right, all those look clean.
2.77.
Go ahead and walk down and take a look at it. All right, so I had 1556 drop low. All the other ones are in the A zone. I had a 300 blackout drop low. All the other ones are in the A zone. All right, next we're gonna do some failure to stops. I'm gonna do each of these drills 3 times between the 3 different guns. Again, keep in mind you're gonna have to keep that microphone facing the gun because it's kind of has a hard time picking up these subs. Failure to stop is 2 to the chest, 1 to the head. You can kind of remember from the footage of the last what it is that target actually looks like. Ready?
All right, shooter ready?
All right, that second round ended up scooting over the top of the head.
Shooter ready?
No trigger freeze on that one.
1.15. Shooter ready?
Go ahead and run this one more time. Go ahead and run it one more.
All right, shooter ready?
All right, good on that last one. All right, we'll have to go ahead and
1.2.
grab ammo for the 5.56. All right, so we're gonna do 5.56 next. Again, it's gonna be a box drill, 2 to the chest, 1 to the head.
Shooter ready?
You see, I'm more used to this trigger. I shoot this gun more.
1 second flat. Shooter ready? 0.84. Shooter ready?
All right.
0.82.
All right, so I had one of those squeak a little bit high. That was the, I think it was the second. It squeaked a little bit high and left. All the, those are in the A zone though. And the 300 blackout, it looks like I got, that's 1, 2. I think it's 1, 2, and 3. So it's these 3. So all of them were pretty good on that. But height over bore is different between the two. So the 300 black's on a 193. This is on a 2.26. This is a nice high rise, and that guy's a 193 mount. So it's a little bit different. I'm having to transfer between the two, but excuses are like armpits. Everybody's got them. But let's go ahead and move to the next drill. All right, last drill, we're gonna do kind of a pseudo 1 to 5. I don't have 3 targets up, I have 2, so I'm gonna transfer between the 2 targets, but this is a transition drill, so you're gonna be moving from target to target back and forth. You're gonna fire 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 rounds, respectively, into each one. It's a little bit higher of a round count. It's a fun drill, but it kind of shows speed too.
All right, shooter ready?
Yep. All right, we're gonna have 1 300 blackout squeak low there and 1 squeak left there, and that is just driving the gun, I believe. That one's more or less a height over bore. That one is, as I'm coming over, I'm over driving a little bit. That's kind of the reason it squeaked out. Just here, we can go ahead and look though. So you guys get a sight for what they're actually doing. So you have 1 squeak out, and I think most of these are my rounds. One of the things you'll notice with the 1 to 5 is a lot of times when you drive, you'll see guys miss on the opposite side of the drive. So they're coming over and then they're breaking the shot as it's coming across, driving and then correcting. Usually what you're gonna see there. And then here, this one more or less just squeak low. That's a little bit more me. Let's go ahead and go to the 5.56 now. We have our local federal agent over here. All right, we're gonna do the same thing, 1 to 5.
Shooter ready?
Little trigger freeze there. Again, height over bore. I was aiming like right in here. So I think that was the first round, maybe the first or the second round. And then all of these guys are in there. So pretty clean on that. What was the time?
5.09.
Do you remember what the time was for 300?
Yeah, I showed it to the camera, but
All right, guys, so that's going to be pretty much it for the shootability of the 2 rounds, or the 2 platforms. with the 2 rounds. Keep in mind that everybody's gonna be a little bit different. Everyone's gun's gonna be a little bit different. I kind of tried to get as close to comparison as I could. So the ammunition that a lot of people are gonna be using, and then where 300 Blackout shines, which is gonna be with the subsonic use. Supersonic, they are gonna be a little bit more snappy, so you wanna keep that in mind as well. So the guys are starting to show up now. Now we're gonna do a basically range day vlog, and we're just gonna get a bunch of footage of everybody running 300 Blackouts.
Put Ali's Muay Thai to the test.
All right, Justin, what do you have going on here?
Fuck.
Explain your build.
Fuck if I remember.
Put you on the spot.
Yeah, it's a 8.5 300 Blackout.
Hold it up, girl.
8.5 300 Blackout. Yeah, EOTech EXPS 3, Cloud Rain Gen 1, Sundown Lower, YHM Resonator K with the old YHM mount. Yeah, it's pretty much it. Running 190 grain subs, running about, I think it's 980 feet per second.
Yeah, you have the Gen 1 baffle stack in there too, don't you? The non-flow through. So yeah, yours will sound. You'll notice a difference in the sound between his and mine. I've got the new reduced back pressure baffle stack.
Mine will sound normal and his will sound very loud.
Yeah. All right, what about your kit?
Kit, if I'm not mistaken, this is a Bees Combat chest rig. Eagle Industries belt with the Kiwi 3-stack. Yeah. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, Ollie, what is it that you are running here?
So it's a Veltor upper, Veltor handguard, 8.5 Husky barrel.
Is the Husky or the Bloodline?
This is, I think it's the Bloodline. Yeah, it's the Bloodline. The Polo 30, the Surefire X300, M6TR, EOTech EXPS 3, and I got the Sons of Liberty lower. That's it.
All right, cool.
Shooter ready. Stand by. Fight.
Shooting.
You kind of just have to, huh?
You're gonna make me spend money. It's like we're gonna tell you to come out here with 900 rounds of 300 Blackout. Oh, we're doing the biggest shoot of our lives. I'm never gonna financially recover from this.
God damn, guys, I'm about to buy a house.
Not anymore, bitch. Ammo. You're buying ammo.
Fuck me. Alright, let's see how bad this goes.
You shoot it on Sonic Cross the Fire?
Yeah.
Ready? Fight. Perfect.
All right. Shooting Santa Course Fire?
Yes.
Stand by. Fight. Without fail. Without fail. Just drop it. Just drop it. There you go. Without fail.
Without fail.
Without fail. All right.
You put it in here.
Nothing.
A brick. It's probably a brick. He's like, hold this brick for me, baby.
3, 3.
Yeah, move 3-3. Transition 3-3.
I was laughing if fucking fails fire again.
Damn it. Shooter ready?
Yeah.
Stand by. Fight.
Oh, wet feet. All the hits in a circle in mine. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Of course.
All right. Shooter on Sonic Course Fire. Stand by. Fight. Beautiful. Shooter on a Sonic course of fire. Stand by. Fight. Good work. Stand by. Fight.
Oh my god.
Down my throat.
Come on, let's go worship at the holy caliphate that is Bucky's.
Inshallah, brother.
Inshallah, brother. All right. Good, Lou McGrady. Here you go. Slap it.
There we go.
It's in. You're good. You're good. It's seated. I heard it. Weak spring life.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's the fucking bad thing about 300 Blackout. We're just gonna like hog them ports out like 0.120. Hog them out.
The price is gonna get crushed.
Eighth of an inch. All right, shooter ready? Stand by. Fight. Good shooting, Tex. There's a lot of them out, but good shooting.
Hey.
I was learning the drills.
Stand by. Fight.
Look at that clean. Clean that motherfucker. Look at that.
You're getting 3 rounds max out of everything.
I ain't doing all that. Said I ain't doing.
Fight.
That was definitely 5.
That was
You
4.
can't fucking count.
No,
We can count.
You guys can't fucking count.
we got it on film.
That was 5.
That was 5.
That's a very bad 5.
You can't count. Oh, that was good for all the shit that I lost when I was testing to make sure my gun was working.
I'm gonna be honest. You're kind of retarded. Shooter
I said
ready?
I could count.
Yep.
Stand by.
Oh my god. I'm a financial analyst. I can't count.
Fight.
That's what I was just gonna go into it. See, Justin, that's how you count to 5.
Yeah, you almost shot yourself in the leg. I don't want to hear it.
That's right.
Stupid motherfucker. He's just doing that common core counting. Well, it was 124 grains, so they're 115, so it was technically 5 of theirs. If I subtract the 2 and carry the 9.
Do one. That little.
Shooter ready?
Yeah.
Stand by. Fight!
We need to start putting suppressors on pistols.
Oh, he sent the boat home. Ah! Polo sounds so damn good. Also, you've got like 9 shots out of the A zone. Look at him. He's got 2 high. Yep. Look at that. Look at that. You suck. Everybody else seemed to be able to get it in, except for Ollie. What's that from?
That's from Spider-Man.
Man,
Yeah.
I got you for 3 whole minutes. 3 minutes of me time. All right.
Shooter on a Sonic course of fire.
Yep.
Stand by. Fight.
That's what you get when you get breeding.
Yeah, I know. I got it pretty tight.
Like you're black. There you go. That's like you're Islamic, like you're Middle Eastern. That's Middle Eastern, like
Hold
you're
on.
black.
You gotta point it out in front of you.
Yeah, there you go.
Alright.
Shooter on a Sonic course of fire. Stand by. Fight. That works.
He went there for
Stand by.
deep dish pizza.
Fight. That was 6.
He couldn't look at me anymore.
He was switching.
Look at me anymore.
He was twitching because you were shooting him more.
Well, he should have stopped switching.
It was the impact of the bullet. It's like he doesn't stop moving. Shooter ready? Yeah. Stand by. Fight. Or 6, you know. Nobody can fucking count anymore, damn it.
Shooter on Santa Cruz fire.
Yep.
Stand by. Fight. Sus.
Bro, you put the barrel right in the way of the target.
I did that on purpose. You obscured the target partially.
I'm gonna obscure your target.
Oh, that niche.
So you ready?
Yeah.
Remember, left-handed on left side. Fight!
I'm tired. Yeah, where's mine at?
I've been in Raising Cane in like a different state, and
Oh, you really can't see that bitch.
You got it. You could just barely see like an inch of the left side.
Alright, let me stop doing that.
Make you think. Fucking hell.
Ah, fuck it, I'm hitting the right.
Good shooting, Jax. Diabolical, baby.
Dude, that fucking slid.
Look at Thomas, he's staring at it.
The fucking car thing. Yeah.
He's staring at the bull's
like,
dick.
My fucking holster was like.
Look at him. Look at Sirloin. Over there. Being all BBC like. That's a big black cow. Alright.
big bussy cow.
Big pussy cow. You ready?
Yeah.
Stand by. Fight!
Oh, steel.
It gets there so much faster. Thomas is like, I'm taking my damn time.
That's what the fuck I'm saying. Oh, I'm about to thread the needle on this one. I bet.
That's what I'm telling you. I meant to do that.
It doesn't matter.
Oh,
As he has a mouth on too.
I fixed it. The fucking gas. My goodness.
love me some cancer.
about that paddle is not working.
So you ready?
2 hits each, right?
Yep.
Unless you're pushing out. Yeah, I got it.
All right, stand by. Fight.
Oh, where's my YouTube?
So good.
Shut the barrel.
Oh, be extra. Reload. Get down behind cover and reload.
I forgot the drill.
2 on each from there.
I can't see my.
That's a super.
Yeah, yeah, I have supers now.
Good shooting, Tex. All right, guys, and so it's been a long time coming for this particular build. As I alluded into the intro, there's quite a few reasons why it took me so long to do it, but I finally was able to get it out, and I have got everything running well on this. Again, if I were to do it over again, there's several parts that I would change, several things I would and would not do, and that's just based off of my experience that I've had with this, both with the can being rebaffled and the new baffles they have in there. I would do a different can, do a different receiver set, and so on. But all in all, it took a lot, but I was able to get this thing running right, and that's kind of the nature of the beast of 300 Blackout. It's more difficult than people think to get one to be able to run reliably 100% of the time with both subs and supers and not beat the hell out of you. Generally speaking, you want to just focus on either one or the other. I primarily run this thing with subsonics. I don't really shoot a whole lot of supers because, I mean, really, what's the point? But if I needed to, I do have the ability to do so. But again, guys, I appreciate y'all watching. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I appreciate y'all watching.
You ready? Fight.
Scan your sis.